Hey, what up everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. This is going to be a video talking all about UFC 182. It's going to be tomorrow from the MGM Grand live in Los Angeles. I'm going to be watching this one, and then right after that, it's going to be an awesome night where I'm going to be watching live wrestling from Japan, New Japan Wrestling, live from the Tokyo Dome. It's going to be my first experience watching Japanese wrestling on pay-per-view, and I'm honestly really pumped up about it. It's going to be a big sports day tomorrow, UFC and New Japan Wrestling. I'm pumped for it. Hopefully you guys are pumped too. I know there's a lot of people that are treating this like a Super Bowl weekend pretty much. I've been to a lot of big wrestling events in my time. I've been to the Georgia Dome for WrestleMania 27. I went to, when was WrestleMania 20? That one was in Miami for WrestleMania 28. SummerSlam 2011. That one was WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, and all of those were crazy. And I'm sure tomorrow at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, right there on the Strip, this is going to be a big one. One that I've been watching a lot more UFC as of late, but it's one of those that I really wish I could be at, because this is an atmosphere that I wish I could capture in a bottle and really feel what's going down, because this is really a big-time blood feud that's really going to spill out all over the floor. Jon Jones going up against Daniel Cormier. Of course, the prize that is going to be out there is the light heavyweight UFC championship of the world. Normal price for UFC pay-per-view, $49.95. We had a little bit of a bump because UFC could feel that this is going to be one of those big-time shows that everybody wants to see. This is a big feud that's been building for a long time. Finally get a spill out. Maybe the injury from Jon Jones pushing back the show is going to be making it a little bit better. You got the last one that they bumped the price up on was Silva versus Weidman. Of course, that one had the undercard of Rousey versus Tate. That had a little bit of an undercard. This really is just built about Jon Jones going up against Daniel Cormier. That's really the only thing that's on there. You have Cerrone fighting on the undercard. Only one match. Basically, he's the only guy that I know of on the whole thing. So it is what it is. You got to give a lot of thanks to Okay, fuck it. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm not the biggest UFC fan, but I'm trying. And they had the big fight of the year. It was supposed to be Jon Jones getting the rematch, or Jon Jones giving the rematch. I apologize. And then basically Jon Jones said he didn't want to fight him. He wanted to fight Daniel Cormier. And then basically Gustafsson got the fight, but then Gustafsson got injured, and then they gave the fight to Cormier anyways, and it just was a big old, miraculously, it all worked out at the end for UFC 182, basically for here. Jon Jones, the disqualification is his only loss. Basically, a lot of people who follow Jon Jones, follow UFC, have said that loss basically was a big old travesty. It never should have happened. And that basically, Jon Jones is looked at as by a lot of fighters and a lot of people who watch UFC as an undefeated fighter. They don't really count that fight. Cormier is another guy that goes out there. He has no losses. He's also undefeated. The battle of these guys started going back in 2013 when basically Jon Jones mocked Daniel Cormier, a former Olympic wrestler, and he was a top 3 wrestler in the world. Even though he doesn't have an Olympic medal to go with it, he has a lot of respect. And basically Jon Jones said if he was able to get into the octagon and sort of scrap around with Cormier, he would be able to take him down 9 times out of 10. From there, we went to basically the showdown, where basically we had the stare down between Cormier and Jon Jones, where Cormier pushed Jones, and then to throw a little bit more fuel on the fire, basically Cormier threw his shoe at Jon Jones. From there, just big fines were handed out to both fighters. It was a big travesty for UFC, who, boxing uses this as leverage to build up a fight a lot, but normally UFC doesn't really have to do that. They have, good television shows that they build up feuds with, and that's how they get it done. Basically the UFC banner fell down, and there's some, guy that was in the middle of them, got shoved and pushed around, and he looked pretty fucking scared, and I don't know why he jumped in the middle, but somebody had to, and once he got there, he was sort of like, like he was like in the running of the bulls, and the bulls running right at him. He wanted to be anywhere else than where he was. Jon Jones ended up losing his Nike deal. It said it cost him 6 figures right there, so that's a lot of money thrown out the window. Reebok came to his saving grace, basically with the UFC deal. He's going to be working, with Reebok as one of their main guys. They signed John Jones. They were able to step up and they signed Ronda Rousey as well, two of the most biggest stars the UFC has. From there, of course, everybody knows the September match got canceled because of John Jones' injury. I think that this fight, honestly, is something that could easily bring in about 1 million buys. I know they were close with the Silva fight, got about 9,000 buys against Weidman, but we'll see what we can get from there. Lots of people thinking that basically Cormier is going to be able to find a way to wrestle Jones and grind this one out for over 5 rounds. I think if John Jones is able to stand up with Cormier and not let Cormier take him down on the ground, I think that John Jones could knock this guy out in 3 rounds. That's basically where I'm going with my prediction. Is John Jones is going to be able to get the win. I think that this fight goes 5. I think this basically could go to Cormier's favor from there. So John Jones is going to have to try and stand up and knock this dude out. And I think that's what everybody wants to see. That's what everybody's going to be throwing down the money for. They want to see John Jones knock this motherfucker out, or they want to see John Jones get beat. He's one of the biggest heels in UFC. He's one of those guys that you love to hate him, even though you respect how good he is. And that's the story. See what happens. UFC 182. It's going to be a great one. Peace out, everybody.